This is going to take the form of something of a rant, and let me explain to you very quickly why, and then you're going to see in its entirety the pitch video for this particular Kickstarter campaign. First off, what they are showing you technically is not what they are going to be crowdfunding. What they're crowdfunding is supposedly a documentary on Rinaldi, an instrumental transcommunication to the other side. What this is a video or a film, whatever you would like to call it, where they're going to celebrate the efforts of this woman out of, I believe it's Brazil, who is saying that she has the ability to allow communication to occur electronically between our world and whatever it is that lies beyond, that supposedly contains the souls of the dearly departed. It is technically not theirs, it is Rinaldi. But the reason why it is so reprehensible to me is that they are going to uncritically tell you that there is life after death, that it exists, they can prove it, and that this is the person that can make it happen. Now, in the course of the video, they'll be making some claims. I'll stop the video at that point and examine those claims very briefly and then move on. Thanks for bearing with me, and let's see if you're as mad as I am when this thing is over.
Instrumental transcommunication, the communication between our side and the other side through electronic devices.
I first heard of Sonia Rinaldi nearly 20 years ago. In her laboratory in Brazil, Sonia was making what she describes as phone calls to the dead.
Is Dennis Gabor there?
Looks forward. Must see that things will not remain as they were.
Grieving parents, in particular, from around the world would contact Sonia, hoping to connect somehow, some way with their beloved.
Would you like to leave a message to your mother?
Mommy, I can talk.
This is what I meant by when I said that this is reprehensible. They're playing on the fears and hopes of grieving parents that somehow, in some magic, mystical way, they can speak with their departed children. And you listen to that voice, it's electronically produced, isn't it?
They believed Sonia had found a path. In call after call, Sonia would keep her ear on one receiver and says she lets those in the afterlife use the other receiver. In the background, Sonia would play audios containing sounds of broken up human voices. Parents were encouraged to talk with their children, and Sonia recorded the voices of these loving parents into her computer. When replaying the recording, incredibly, their children's voices were detectable, and they could be heard in conversation with their parents.
Now, in fewer parts of the world,
here you see the genius of what Rinaldi is doing in full flower. She is not a medium. The machine must be the medium, because it is the machine that is giving us the messages. She's only the operator. She is the only one who inputs all of this stuff, and out pops the mystery voices that are supposed to be the kids and other loved ones that people are trying to communicate with. As a consequence, if there's a failure, well, it's the machine's fault, not mine, because Rinaldi is only an operator, a conduit of putting information into the computer. Well, that's fascinating, isn't it? Let's go on.
This has become her life's work and is a labor of love for Sonia, who has never charged a penny.
Oh, really? Let me ask you a couple of questions at this point. We've seen that she is obviously traveling. You've intimated that in your narration. They've obviously been holding meetings in large rooms, looks like hotel meeting rooms and so forth. And of course, she apparently has had to travel to get to some of those places. Who pays for her recording equipment? Who's been paying for those meeting rooms? Who paid for her lodging, her food? If she hasn't taken a penny, How in the world is she able to do all of these things and support herself? Because nobody does anything for free.
Sonia Rinaldi's experiments and research to document a path to the afterlife continue to evolve. And testimonials from those touched by these experiences have been shared around the globe. And now she is doing this not only through voices, but with some highly detailed images.
Now pay attention. This next part is absolutely hilariously golden.
This unique journey remains a labor of love for a most unique and compassionate woman to prove the existence of an afterlife and give hope and comfort to the grieving. Sonia believes that someday this method of communication could become mainstream knowledge. Now, thanks to Kickstarter and your generous donation, Sonia Rinaldi's story, request, and techniques can be shared with the world. In this film entitled Rinaldi, our We Don't Die Films production crew will...
And here you now see why I take this entire Kickstarter to such lengths and tasks. The name of the production crew indicates that this is going to be not so much a documentary, but a big commercial for Rinaldi and her claims. It's an uncritical look at something that should be looked at very skeptically and very critically.
Travel to Brazil. We will document Sonia's process and capture on film in real time Sonia's world, where, as she describes it, images of the spirit world materialize. This cutting-edge research using video projectors, cameras, light, and other materials will be documented in the film, as well as Sonia's history of how and why she developed this unique passion and project.
In the recordings, she mentioned things that never her mother would imagine that she was aware.
In the coming year, Sonia will be testing new devices and methods making communications even more vivid. Our aim is to open a window into the past, present, and future, illuminating a bridge that can give comfort and clarity, to help prove the existence of an afterlife, and efforts that show communication with the spirit world is possible. As a backer of this Kickstarter campaign, you will help us produce a film that shows the world proof of communication with the spirit world, and also helps Sonia with further experimentation.
So despite the claims from earlier, some of this money and money raised when you have your film out there that you're probably going to charge admission to, at least that's my impression, is going to go to this selfless person who doesn't take a penny for what she's doing, right? Interesting.
As portions of the film's budget will be dedicated to new equipment for her. See the incentives on the sidebar of this project to find out more. There is limited space, but you may be chosen to be part of this film. Thank you for watching, and please support the film Rinaldi by We Don't Die Films. We ask you to share this campaign with your friends or anyone else who may be interested. You never know for whom this communication might be priceless, even timeless.
So that's it. We have a Kickstarter campaign that essentially is a commercial for someone that is selling spiritual medium kind of things to the public. They disguise it as a documentary where they're supposedly studying this person, but the reality can really be sussed out if you start looking over all the different things that show up. For instance, let's take a look at, once again, the name of the production company, which we can see right here is We Don't Die Films. Now, where have we seen that particular slogan before? Perhaps if we look at the posters in Rinaldi's workshops in those big meeting rooms, we'll notice that it shows up on those posters long before this supposed documentary was shot. That is a little bit disconcerting, right? The wall of text that you find for this campaign is interspersed with an awful lot of snippets from the pitch video that we saw. I'm going to let you look those up yourself if you want to see them, because, well, the link to this campaign on Kickstarter is in the description below. I urge you, if you have some time and could use a good belly laugh, take a look at them. Look at them critically and see if you can find them as hilarious and as concerning as I do. A final note. Spiritualism has been around for an awfully long time, goes back for decades, if not almost a century. It was all the rage in the early America. It was all the rage at one point in England. It had people that were detractors and, well, people like Harry Houdini who found out how spiritualists did their tricks and were able to, well, expose them. I have no doubt that given the opportunity, the same thing can be done for Rinaldi. But I also know that people actually believe in this because they really want to believe. They want to believe that when we shuffle off this mortal coil, that isn't the end, and that we could communicate somehow with the people that we left behind. And the people that we left behind really want to believe that they can be communicated with. And that is how people give away money to charlatans. People who are genuine believers who really can't do what they say they can. To best of my knowledge, no one has communicated with the afterlife. No one has communicated with those who are already dead, not here, not there, and certainly not in crowdfunding hell.